Okay, welcome everybody watching this later. Not sure anyone's gonna watch this thing live, I guess. So I'm home today. Figure I would talk about something that we used to know back in the day, but it's really been a while since we had a really good bull market. And we'll talk about the Bitcoin altcoin cycle and kind of go through that because I mean crossing 100K when it happens is going to be a big deal. It's going to be on every news station, every Twitter feed, everything. And it's probably going to suck all the liquidity out of all of these altcoins and cause Bitcoin to rally substantially because what they used to do, and whoever they were, what they used to do is they would, run the altcoins. They'd run Bitcoin, then they'd run the altcoins. And then when Bitcoin would start to rally, everyone was focused on Bitcoin. They would sell the shit out of all the altcoins, and then rally and take that money and buy Bitcoin with it. That's exactly what they would do. You'd just watch all the alts stall, and then you'd watch Bitcoin rally, and then the opposite would happen. Bitcoin would stall, and altcoins would start to rally. You can kind of see this cycle. So I don't think we've seen this in a while, but I want to go through and see if we have seen it in recent past, and maybe we can take a look at some historical stuff. So maybe we can look at Doge. That's been a recent winner. Yeah, it's gonna go by percentages and screw everything up. So you have to zoom in pretty good to kind of maybe see the differences. But yeah, Doge is probably too new of an example. Yeah, Doge is probably too new of an example. Um, okay, one thing I did is I was looking at dominance here, and I used this whole 20. I used this example. You can actually use probably all of this because there's some dynamics here. So this was beginning of 2017, and then you have the end of 20. Oh, it's just this way over the end of 2017. So let's do this. When is this? That's most of the year. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go. Let's just take 2017 for example. Let's go like this because ETH topped later. And then I want to go into the actual charts like I just tried to do. But this is a good example just to give you a prelude of what I'm referring to. So here you have Ethereum. One's Ethereum and one's others. So Ethereum is, I think, this one, the lower value one, and others is 32%. Ethereum's 19%. So I'm not sure if I can adjust the colors that we're gonna see here. Oh, there we go. Just Ethereum. Perfect, perfect. Okay. So here's the dynamic at play essentially. You got Ethereum rallying while Bitcoin essentially stalls. Now this is just dominance. This isn't price performance. This is just dominance between the two. And back in the day, ETH would just go. ETH was like the only altcoin, one of the only altcoins, and it would just rally like mad. And then it would top out, and Bitcoin would start to go right. And then here you see Ethereum kind of start to go sideways, and Bitcoin would sell off, and Ethereum would go, and then vice versa. So they're almost not obviously complete, but they're almost mirror images of one another. Uh, I'm not sure I can get rid of that. Now, how do I back out of this thing? I'm not sure if that's a thing I can do. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, but this dynamic is likely going to come back into play. The problem is, I don't think it'll be with Ethereum because as we've seen, ETH is pretty crazy. So let's go back to, let's see if we can see this on the chart here, June 2017. And let's do this. Now, I know when I go into this, it's going to go, when I add this, I think we have a, they're not giving us an index for ETH USD. Do I have one over here? Oh, there, index, right there. Why isn't it giving me an option for an index? I guess I'll use Bitstamp. Whoops. New price scale. And how did I add NVIDIA? That's funny. I screwed that up. I screwed that up. I guess not too bad. All right, let's go to a different chart here. Oh yeah, Black Friday sale. That's the best way to buy TradingView, by the way, is this Black Friday sale. Although I think I have mine for, no, that's my server. All right, so let's go back here. Let's go to BTC. Let's go ahead and add Ethereum. It's just USD. TradingView crypto index. There we go. Haha. Perfect. Freaking Ethereum. Look at that. It's crazy, crazy. Yo, what up, Jared? Okay, so this goes into it a little bit. This is more like what actually happens. Oh, we're frozen. All right, we unfrozen? Okay. So we go early on. Bitcoin. Wow, that's a ETH double top thing. I remember that like crazy. That's crazy. So here the dynamic didn't really play in that much. After this, it did come in. Um, so let's see. We're looking. So here they're kind of going together here. Top at the same time. They really do trade together. Boom, boom, and then they start to diverge at some point. Let's go to here. That's kind of where we ended. This is where we're going to start right now here. And so they diverge here a little bit. So here you can see where Bitcoin takes off and ETH goes flat. And then Bitcoin goes flat and then ETH takes off. And it's hard to know exactly the dynamic that is at play, but it seems to make sense that they started playing them against each other versus where they all ran together. And maybe this is loosely the start of that, but right there, ETH goes sideways, and then Bitcoin takes off. Boom. Bitcoin stalls, ETH takes off, and that's December 2017. And then they sell off Bitcoin, and then ETH takes off again. And then we end up in this situation where everything is shit for a while. Let's just go leg by leg. I'm not sure when ETH exactly lost its dominance, and maybe we can use Solana, but I don't know. I just thought about this earlier today about Bitcoin's going to hit 100K. They're going to sell all the freaking alts off probably, or at least stall them, and then just pile into Bitcoin. That's a possibility. So I just wanted to see if that's something that can happen. So here we are. We're going sideways, sideways, down. These are all parallel, right? We kind of agree with that. These are all parallel. Happens again here on the way up. Pretty parallel during this cycle. Not a super cycle. Again, this is just Ethereum. These are pretty parallel. Small move up there, nothing crazy. Here, Bitcoin has the move. These are all in parallel. That's got to be COVID. It is March 2020. So we'll do after COVID. They move together. They're moving together. Pretty much moving together here. Little minor divergence there. Nothing crazy though. Just individual token movement. It's funny how in lockstep they are at this stage in terms of the percentages, because this is on a percentage basis. ETH does outperform, we do know that, but if you notice, the from what we had before, the percentage is definitely less than what it was here. So here's the extra volatility on the way down, and that's 2019. So that's interesting to see that. Um, what are we 2020 now? Is that March? Oh, there's March. Okay, there's March 2020. So ETH takes a bigger leg up here over Bitcoin. That's not super cycle though. This could be maybe considered a super cycle. Really funny how they go back and forth. And I do remember noticing that these ran together for the most part during this time frame. Here's a divergence. I'm not sure it's the same dynamic at play though. I don't think it's the same thing. So and then Solana did take over at some point. Let's try to add Solana into here now that we're let's see if they have an index for Solana. I don't see one. I could try to add the T. I'm not sure who they decide who they make an index for. Huh. Which just says crypto. So maybe that'll be good. All right, obviously that gets insane. So here Bitcoin stalled, Solana ran. Of course, Solana kind of I don't want to say always ran, but it kind of always ran. So here Solana stalled, Bitcoin didn't do anything. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we won't get the same dynamic. I just think with the 100K, it just feels like it's a situation where we could see that dynamic. I wonder if I can get Bitcoin and all of alts. I wonder if that's like alts. If I type in altcoins, they'll have like a so such as this on Coin Market Cap. So if we bring in the others here, so here's been our alt. Let's see. So these are inverse. These are inverse. There's a widening gap though. We got pretty close to 50-50 for others and for Bitcoin. And there was an inverse correlation pretty much this entire time. Hard to find one individual coin though. But others, see if you pull in top coins, I'm not sure if this is. So Bitcoin's been taking precedence here since last year. Rising dominance. Hmm. There's generally a dynamic though between Bitcoin and alts, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. Obviously, I'm doing this in real time. I don't have anything to actually show you in terms of results, but I kind of already gave you the case. Um, and here you do. It does have Ethereum others. I can't choose what coins are up here, and I can't find a good way to do it on here. Maybe if I type dominance. Okay, so there's Bitcoin dominance. Others. Okay, we can dig down a little bit. Solana dominance. Maybe the dominance. Okay, look at all these with .ds next to them. I didn't know that. BTC.d, USTD.d, others.d. Interesting. Let's do this. Let's do BTC.d. We'll get rid of these. All right. Interesting. Okay, dominance chart. And we can do the sol.d because, and then we can do the eth.d. Wow, this goes in percentages. What an interesting way to view this. Okay, so how do we get these looking the same? What's going on, English? So which one's which? I need a legend of sorts. So that's Solana's market cap dominance, which is crazy. There's Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Obviously, Ethereum's been horrible. So that's Bitcoin's dominance. That's Ethereum's dominance. We can add Doge in here. That'd be crazy. Obviously, that's been very dominant. That's useless. Let's do others. So my assumption is others is going to be everything except for the top, however many they determine. It's CryptoCap others. What is in CryptoCap others? Yeah, excluding the top few large ones, Bitcoin and Ethereum encompassing the collective of market of altcoins, not included in the top tier. Yeah, but what is the top tier? Top 10. Okay, so outside of the top 10 is others. So that's not a bad amalgamation. So, okay. Oh, so this isn't too bad. So this is outside of the top 10. And we got one, two, three, four. And, I don't have Tether and stuff in here, so maybe that'll. So that's everything outside of AVAX, Cardano, Doge, BNB, XRP, Solana. So we know these are going to have individual moves, but this is kind of an amalgamation of the rest of them. Okay, that's not bad. So when we say alts, that kind of does mean others. I think I would. I think that's probably legitimate. And so we see the others have taken a hit as Bitcoin has rallied. And you go back far enough, and others obviously outperform because Solana is going to be in here. A lot of others are going to be in the others. So let's go to this. Let's go to this peak right here, January 2022, where the others really were at their biggest. Okay, so right about there. And here is the somewhat divergent nature of what I'm referring to. So one goes up, the other goes down. And here it's choppy sideways for Bitcoin. It starts to do good. The others start to not do as good. So, um, what's the best way to play this? If I do invest better, if I go back to my layout, let me do this. If I go back to my layout, then I go back to invest better. I wonder if I'll keep the same. Yeah, kinda. I got others, and I got dominance, and I got ETH. Okay. All right, that's not bad. So let's go back. Let's go back to my layout here. Hmm. Yeah, so this is definitely an experiment what I'm doing here. I just kind of wanted to explore and see if I could find something. If you guys have anything you remember about the dynamics of these markets, feel free to chime in. I figured we'd all learn something. Um, all right, so we're gonna pull up Bitcoin. We're gonna pull up. What are some of the others? Let's just do. Let's just add uh, Solana. That's gonna ruin everything though. Solana's been a freaking gangbuster crypto for a long time now. Let's do. We can do Ethereum because it's not as good as it used to be. And let's just start. Let's just start there. And we were going back to I think the beginning of 22, right? I can save this layout. Okay, so we'll save that. That will go back here. And so make sure we were going in the right spot. Yeah, right around December 21. Oh no, we went here. January 22. That's where we went. Okay. So that's January 22. So we're going to the beginning of January 22. which is oddly enough right there. Yeah, sorry guys, no, it's not the most exciting thing that we've ever done, but sometimes these experiments go well, sometimes they don't. Okay, so that's February. That's pretty good. Okay, so here's where those dominants of the others started to diverge. I wonder if I can pull in others if that's going to screw with this. Okay, not too bad. So we'll save this. And I just want to compare apples to apples. Is really what I'm trying to do. And that definitely didn't save it, but it got us the coins, so that's okay. So there's a divergence. So here's Bitcoin. Bitcoin gets really dominant, and these others kind of take off. We end up with a low in the others here in June of 23. Obviously, we can take a trend line here and kind of visualize that a little bit better. Then they both do start rallying together. Bitcoin builds a dominance cup and handle, and then breaks out like a mofo. Look at that. That's a beautiful cup and handle. And then breaks out. So this isn't really a divergence though. What a weird dynamic. I would have thought we'd see more of kind of a, I mean there's a small divergence here actually as this trend shifts. So here's a divergence. So the alts go down, BTC goes up. This is in May 2022. Let's go check out May 2022, which is right there. Okay, so the divergence, what is purple on this one again? Is that others? Oh, okay. Yeah, so there is a little bit of a, they did sell off Bitcoin to get some alts here. They left Ethereum, they sold Ethereum off with Bitcoin. And these are the others. I don't think Solana's in here. Let me add Solana. And it's going to be off the charts, but oh, I guess not too bad. So they almost included Solana in that, and they bought these others. So that's interesting. I wonder what comprised. So there's a divergence right there. And then Bitcoin kind of, keep in mind Bitcoin is the actual Bitcoin chart in the candlesticks. Everything kind of malaises. See, now they're together again for a while. And that shows in the other chart too. They don't always diverge. And then here things come back. Bitcoin's a little late to the game, but it starts to move right there. And then the others, see, here's a divergence. This is where the others start to go flat. From here all the way till the next purple rises way over here, and Bitcoin does rally like 50%. So there's a divergence there during, um, okay, so that's actually a really good Bitcoin run. So that is during a bull cycle. And you've got Solana, which does nothing as Bitcoin rallies. Yeah. So that cycle's still here. It's still with us. It's not, every day, but in the large scheme of things. So these others take a little bit of a rally with Bitcoin, but then look, they drop and Bitcoin is stable. Stable. There's that weird. So there's COVID. Is that COVID? No, it's over there. That's not COVID. I don't want to move the chart though, because it's this the scale skew. So I'm trying to remember where we are. There's like a trough here. This is that. There's like a base on base kind of thing. Then this drops down. Then it breaks out over here. That's where the run really starts to happen. But this whole sequence here happens in a divergence between the others. Even on Solana is an individual, and then I think we do have ETH. which is that red one, which also diverges a little bit from BTC. It's a little subtle. See, it kind of works together here. I don't know if they really sell it. I don't know what that is. I'm focusing on these cycle things and the divergence between the alts and the BTC at the moment. So there's the others as it flattens out for a period of time. Let's go back. So let's get some dates here. So we do see this early divergence. Okay, well, you got a symbol for me? Just keep it there and I'll pull it up at some point. So we have this clear divergence on June 12th, 2022. Let me save this. All right, thanks, brother. I forgot the date. Yeah, you suck. It was like June 22nd, I think. Not you. You don't suck. I was talking to the chart. Yeah, it was before that move up, I thought. Is it log? Did I get it? Nah. I'm going to screw it all up here. I need to get a percentage. Okay, there we go. That's what it is. There's something in 2022. Well, while we're here, let's take a look at that. So there's the COVID. There's where Bitcoin price takes off right there. That's what I was referring to. So there's a COVID drop. There's like those two consolidations. Then it breaks out right there. Oh, this is even after that. Oh. Yeah, see, it looked too weird. I didn't even know where the hell I was. 22. This is where we were. We were over here. This is the second run up. All right, I screwed it up. This is where I want to be. I thought I was over here. Dominance, dominance. Where's that 2022? So, all right. So here's the 20. This is why they were closer because it was basically it was this point. Oh, it was before. Oh, it was this beginning of this cycle. Oh, I'm retarded. Yes, we were coming down. Right there, we were down like this, I think. Yeah, this is here's where it was. That was the look we just had. So as this move up on October 20? Yeah, so let me I'm just gonna take a screenshot of this real quick. All right, let me pull up Paint. Whoops, that's not the one I wanted to grab. No, don't do that. The streaming window. It's never supposed to move. Let me go fix it. You guys are probably gonna see all kinds of wrong stuff. Okay, there we go. That's pretty good. All right, so let me see here. I'll pull this off to the side so I can reference it while we go back because it's even if I save the layout, it doesn't save as we just saw. So this is from April 22 to February 24. So this is the emergence of this last, really this whole last cycle run has been one big cycle since this time down here. And you see Bitcoin, rallying up early while the alts diverge. Alts really don't do much of anything. And see Bitcoin really start to rally here. And the alts come back a little bit. They do start to come back some, but you start breaching these highs over here about this time frame well after BTC's already ran. So we get a mini divergence right here. This is where I wanted June 12th, 2022. I want to get this. All right, cool. All right, so June, yeah, right there at that peak. So yeah, right there, Bitcoin goes down, and then this is basically the same graph, just kind of inverted because it's dominance against one over the other. Because this is Bitcoin dominance and this is others dominance, but it's kind of the same graph. Yeah, they kind of show the same thing. Then there's this peak right here. And Bitcoin starts to move right here. That's the price movement, is where Bitcoin starts to go. Okay. So that's where Bitcoin starts to move up. I'm looking at the price chart on the other screen here. Bitcoin starts to move up right there, like the very earliest. So right there, right there. So there's kind of that low trough that happens. That's the exact point it starts to move. It's right after this little peak. Is that where it is? So I'm trying to keep myself straight here. November 23. That's it was in the beginning of 23. Right. Okay, yeah. So there's the peak. There it is right there. Okay, I'll leave the peak on there. That's kind of my landmark. Okay, so that's where Bitcoin starts to move. And alts do initially take a move up, and then BTC can so BTC can okay, there we go. So the dynamic is there. So there's the peak. Altcoins rally a little bit. That's where Bitcoin starts to run. Altcoins rally for a short time. Bitcoin does nothing. It flips. Alts come down. BTC goes up. Then it flips again. BTC stalls. Yeah, so this dynamic is there. It's tricky though. So you've got that to there, and then these come down while Bitcoin does nothing. And then you see there's this little flip right there. Bitcoin does start to break out here, rallies to there. So here Bitcoin stalls and alt sell. So that's an interesting dynamic. Alt sell off. And then pretty much at the peak of the sell off, Bitcoin runs a little bit prior to that. And then it goes. And then Bitcoin stalls. So there is this interesting dynamic. I wonder if you can figure this shit out. That would be monster. And then that goes on a big rally while Bitcoin stalls. Starts to rally here. They do rally together, but then Bitcoin starts to stall. And then Bitcoin rallies here while these alts stall. These little intercycle dynamics at play. So that's almost one for one. So it's kind of like that's almost one. So there's something here. There's definitely something here. I guess the question is, how do you play these others? I think that's the question. I wonder if ETH and Solana have anything. Solana and BTC probably not. Let's continue with this train of thought with the others for right now, because it does seem to be here. You're kind of picking up what I'm putting down. People that have dealt with all this garbage I've been doing here for the past 20 minutes. So yeah, the question is now, Now what do we have? So we kind of see these dynamics a little bit at play. Yeah, it has not very clear through here. Others came up. BTC stalls. BTC starts to rally here. You see where the alts drop off right there. BTC starts a. It's been on a pretty good run, and the others drop off. So there's a clear divergence right there, and then they're both choppy right now. They both have turned into chop. Look at that divergence. That's a big one. So this whole big box is like one big cycle. And then you've got Bitcoin breaking out here. This is another big cycle. So these big gaps in the dominance chart, you go to the bottom to kind of where they broke out. I guess I have to pull it up a little bit, but the other thing is it's really dependent kind of on where you start the chart too. So I don't know if you can pull back and get a good view, if this is best viewed from a 60 day, 90 day, 100 day, 180 day, 365 day. Like how do you line this chart up so you can kind of see some of these factors and coming into play. And a lot of it does seem to be though predicated on general technical analysis, higher highs and higher lows, even within these cycle things here. So that's an interesting dynamic. And right here, actually, the Bitcoin dominance doesn't look very good. We are in chop, but we've been able to get up to 100. But look at these alts bouncing back very dramatically, very dramatically. I'm not sure what the play is right here. That's interesting. The dominance has come back in the past week. And so the question is, are we in chop again? And the other question is, how can you effectively find a top in a dominance chart? I think that is a question. Because this one, I mean, look at that one. That's a pretty good drawdown on BTC, at least in terms of dominance. Let's go look at the chart. That's June 12th, 2022. June 12th, 2022. Right there. So that's a big drop. So that's a big drop in BTC, and here's these others are in purple there. So there's a pretty clear divergence right there, and that was predicated by this flag failing. So general TA combined with some of these, yeah, definitely could lead to an understanding of market direction and maybe a potential. Still price leads, though I'm not sure if the dominance is going to be that. Maybe dominance can help you with like a flipping of trend. Because here you have the dominance coming down to that peak. I mean, really, the price action still probably does better than anything you could do with dominance. I would assume. Just being true to the price action, but I do think understanding this dynamic of others, that is a pretty interesting dynamic. I wonder if BTC was at a. Let's look at where BTC was at other highs and see where this chart looked like. Let's look at that. We can go back to the first top in 21 or whatever that year it was. This one, yeah, 21. See what that looked like. So this high, yeah, but look at the run Solana was on. See, here's another look at that. So look, Solana acted exactly like Ethereum did later. It ran later. That's exactly what ETH did in 2017. That's got to be Solana. Oh, that's Ethereum. I guess it was Ethereum. So Ethereum ran later too. Wow. Let's get Solana in here. Oh, geez, that's bonkers. So that came into play. So that's April 14th, 21. So yeah, they all ran. So April 14th, 21 was kind of the de facto last top of BTC, or the first top in 21. April 14th, 21. Yeah, you can't even tell. These alts were so dominant during that last run up. So there's April 14th, 21. Really nothing on this particular chart. It just didn't mean shit. But the alt started to go right there. Look at that divergence. Bam. You go from a big drop to a big go to a big move up. And it's probably obvious here. So let's go January 17th, 2021. This is interesting. Okay, so definitely not a major divergence here because everything was in a bull run. But obviously the alts, uh, well, at least the top alts probably did better. So January 17, 21, right here. So right there, the alts, and so there's your dominance. You can see the alts really started going. And so the alts rallied 130%, and then Bitcoin rallied 68%. So the alts definitely did better. And then your top alts, such as a Solana, it's not even funny. 176% to cycle high there. And then obviously that's much. Oh, right, that's part of the same damn cycle. But Bitcoin comes down then, and then it goes back up again. So, man, interesting dynamic. Huh, is there something there? I guess that's the question. Could that dominance flipping actually lead us to something? And then, what is it telling us now? Now it's actually telling us that alts are kind of taking over and Bitcoin's topped out. Is that what it's telling us? That alts are taking over and Bitcoin's going to chop. Is that what it's saying? Because look at this. And at that obvious time, oh, back here in 2021, right there. That's 20. Yeah, right there. Look at that. We're right there in the altcoins. Is that what it's telling us? No way. We're at 100K. We're going to stall right now. We're like right here. Maybe a little bit later than that. We're right here. So Bitcoin is showing a little bit of weakness in terms of the dominance. And these alts are popping, which we've obviously seen the past several days. Wow, is that what that chart's showing us? Is that Bitcoin's not going to get past 100K? Bitcoin's going to consolidate for however the fuck long, and maybe it'll go again, but the alts will have a better run, because that's kind of what we ended up with in that top in 2021, in that first one. Let's go to the second one. I mean, can somebody say something? It'd be nice to get a little bit of feedback, although people are dropping like flies, I guess. So let's go here. I mean, we know we're in highs. We're not really in this scenario. I think we're in one of these scenarios. But so this is where the alts took over, and then BTC did go. So BTC still could go, but the alts really took over without fumbling too much and just kept going right here. So that's May 18th, 21. Then obviously Solana, if you put Solana, it just flattens all these charts. So there's that initial peak. There's the first peak. No, there's the first peak. April? I don't even know. Yeah. There's a couple other little peaks here, but that's the actual peak of the first cycle. Cup and handle here, big breakout to its eventual blow off peak, and then we consolidate, trend line break. There's your entry. Enjoy Cancun, which I didn't do too well. Hmm. Okay. Well, I think that's what it's showing us. I think that's what it's showing us. So, are you still around there, Disclosure Crypto? I'm not really interested in looking at that Gari unless you're around. Otherwise, I'll just end it. But I think that's what it's showing us. I think if it's possible to take this at its trending slash face value, what we're noticing is that it looks like Bitcoin's chopping and the alts are rocking. Now the question is, what's the alt that's gonna do it? What's the next Solana? Is it Doge? I mean, Doge is already a number 7 token. Is it going to get more dominant? Doubling it would get it to number past Solana in some weird thing. I don't know. I'm not sure, Bagels. I'm not sure. I really don't know. I'm not sure if this tells us that. This just tells us kind of cycles. Um, alts versus BTC, which is the whole point of the stream. It's really alts versus BTC cycle. So that's interesting. I mean, I guess it could flip back around again. Anything's possible, but BTC stalled out at 100K. Alts look like they're ready to go and are going. So maybe that's what we'll get. And that's the others. Yeah. Hmm. So are others gonna go back up and dominate back up here in the 14% range? That would bode very well for the altcoins and Bitcoin just chilling out. I do wonder if we can use some of these metrics that we normally use. So look at that trend line on BTC. That's a pretty pervasive trend line going all the way back to the beginning of the bull run, November 2022, and we're pretty close to breaking that, which is crazy. I'm not sure if that's a thing. I'm not. I know this one was a thing. That worked out pretty well. You probably try to go probably maybe like this. One of those would be for a big, nice angled trendline break for dominance, and this one's already breaking some, already broke some. As Bitcoin is kind of edging out of its dominance, will the alts, and obviously dominance is a somewhat unique thing. We never really tracked it. So here's Bitcoin dominance right there. That's February 2020. So Bitcoin dominance trendline breaks there on February 2020, February 7th, 2020, right? Yeah, February 7th, 2020. So right there. And it didn't even do too bad in all honesty. It started breaking out here October 22nd, 2020. That really wasn't a bad October 22nd, 2020. What does that look like on dominance chart? October 22nd, 2020. So right there, so yeah, it starts getting going technically and on the dominance chart at about the same time. Then I guess alts just outperform it like a mofo as Bitcoin kind of rallies, but alts really rally more. And that top is so from that point to May 18th, its dominance from a straight downtrend. So January 2nd to May 18th, 21. So right there to right there, the dominance was in a straight downtrend because these alts were so pervasive. But BTC did its own thing. It worked out. It just wasn't as, didn't have the percentage gains. What up, Loopy? It will begin to fall next year, but doesn't mean it won't necessarily go up 50%. Yeah, so I think like this, right? Just like this dynamic, because this is that dynamic we just looked at. So at the beginning, from the beginning of the year here, it was essentially a straight down dominant shot. But look at the alts. This is alt dominance right here. This is the others. And just straight up the entire time because the alts were just so much more pervasive than BTC. Yeah, so I mean, it looks like we're stalling a little bit right now. We could do something like this, then eventually come back and maybe take 100 to 120, 150 or whatever the case may be, while the alts just have a freaking crazy ass run. So it could be a possibility, but there definitely is a unique situation with this dominance type of a thing. I wonder if you could do this with stocks in some way, shape, or form. Maybe the index with dominance of industries or something. I don't know. I don't know. But but yeah, if you look at the so we've already kind of charted a few of these, Loopy, and I'm not sure if you were here the whole time, but Bitcoin dominance waning a little bit. Altcoin dominance is charging up. Seems like the altcoin dominance tends to be more important than the Bitcoin dominance because it's more dynamic. It's probably easier to see the shifts in the cycles in the others than it is in the Bitcoin chart. Because like you zoom out, the Bitcoin chart does have some trend to it, but definitely not as obvious as these big cycle moves. And these trend lines are just all over the place right now. But yeah, so you can see that like when they flip, and it's interesting because they're on top of each other. So yeah, like your point, Loopy, like yeah, dominance is waning on BTC, but it's getting really high, but Bitcoin chart isn't bad. So that probably means that Bitcoin's going to chop or consolidate until its next leg up while the altcoins potentially have a field day here as we're kind of getting really bullish on these others. So if you bring ETH in the mix, of course ETH has been just a dog for a long time now, unfortunately. And Solana, not really, I mean, it's been behaving pretty well, but it's not definitely not the Solana of old like we had all through this. That's probably all the Solana run right there. And here was a nice pullback situation. So it's just pulling back and now it's trying to go up a little bit. But the alts are kind of taking some of that dominance away. Like you look at this run here, that's a good 20% run versus Solana with a 3% run. Got up only up to 12%. So Solana, so you got to figure out what is that next one coming up. I mean, Doge is probably taking a lot of that liquidity for whatever reason. It's not really a layer one, so it's hard to know why that dynamic's at play unless it's just the Elon factor, which is possible. So yeah, it looks like BTC is stalling. I thought it would get to the point where it'd be the opposite. I thought I would see that alts were stalling and BTC was going to go on a run, but that doesn't appear to be the case right now Because in these really bullish markets, these alts just tend to take over. And I think that's really what we're seeing here. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad I did that. Kind of put some things in perspective that alts are still in a really good spot and BTC could rally, but definitely probably not as much as some of these altcoins are going to go up. So, all right, I think that's what we got, guys. It's been basically an hour, 55 minutes, 56 minutes. So, thanks for joining me. If you guys stayed with it, I appreciate it. I hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys got something out of it. And I will see you guys next time. Have a good day. Bye bye.